Happy Pride Month, everyone. It's June again, and here in the United States, we celebrate, whether people want us to or not, the month of Pride. This is the time where LGBTQIA people from all walks of life come together to celebrate that we are here and that we are not going to be silenced or made to go away, to disappear back into the closet because other people wished we didn't exist. Today, we're going to be talking about the spirituality of the pride flag and exactly how you can incorporate the principles that went behind the design of the pride flag into your regularly daily life. Now, if you're not queer, if you're not any of the things on the flag you are welcome to come with us, because allies and accomplices, especially accomplices, are wonderful to have on this journey. What do I mean by an accomplice? Somebody who's not just willing to accept us and say the right words, but somebody who's willing to stand up for and with us in our time of need and struggle. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about the colors of the original pride flag as we walk together down creation's paths. Hello, everyone. My name is Charlie. I am a Christopagan druid and priest of Brigid.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brian. I'm a Christopagan druid and sous chef to the dog.
Today, we are going to be talking about the colors of the original pride flag, because if you haven't noticed in the subtle things when I keep saying my husband and I do this podcast together, and we have been together for more years than I really want to count. I think 2 years away from our 30th anniversary.
Something like that, yeah.
It does not feel like it's been that long. We've been together for a very, very long time. We are going to be talking about the colors of the pride flag and their original meaning. We're also going to talk a little bit about how we got from the original pride flag to the one we know today. But before we get into all that, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, whatever the terminology happens to be on whatever app you're listening to us on. We do 5 original Christopagan and Druid episodes Monday through Friday, and you don't miss anything. We've got a lot of really cool stuff coming up. The pride flag that we know today, the 6-color pride flag with the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple lines, with or without the chevron on it, I'm just talking about the rainbow flag, comes to us from 1979. This flag, according to great legend, was created because parade flag was too wide to fit down the street in San Francisco, so they cut a color off. And yeah, that's the story behind this one, but it's a story of transformation that has happened over time. The original flag was developed by Gilbert Baker and was designed to have 8 stripes on it. The flag originally, so you can imagine this in your mind, had the colors from top to bottom: hot pink, red, orange, yellow, green, turquoise, indigo, and violet. Each of these given a meaning and a name. The following year, as this flag was picked up by other pride events around the country, so the first flag flew in 1978. Later in 78 and early into 79, a 7-color version of the flag appeared without the pink, because the company that was producing the flags did not have the pink fabric to add to it. And so, yeah, we're now down to 7. In the years that followed, the turquoise and indigo stripes were replaced by the blue stripe. They kind of brought their meaning in together. And that's, in a very, very quick nutshell, where we got the flag that we have today. Now, when I say that we're going to be talking about this as principles that you can bring into your own life, originally, each color had a specific meaning assigned to it. I'm going to risk some of the platforms we're on by saying a certain 3-letter word, but the first stripe, the pink stripe, the hot pink stripe, was associated with sex. There, I said it. Now, this, I think, is a term up for debate. At the time, it meant exactly what the word means. That thing that partners do together.
You mean as in male and female?
No, as in the thing that 2 partners do together.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to say this. It's going to be as platform friendly as we can be for all the different platforms that we're on. Somebody somewhere is going to get upset, but I'm trying to walk a fine line so that we don't offend.
Sometimes there's youngins in the background.
Yes. One, I think, is one that I would broaden out to include gender now, and all of the things that are encoded therewith, as well as, let's say, partner preference. Maybe that one can get past the folk that make the algorithms, and whether or not somebody even wants a partner, because let's not forget our demi friends and family and our ace friends and family that often get neglected. Also, a special shout out to our bi and pan friends who also get erased very quickly, and it frustrates me. So
maybe ironic is appropriate in this situation, that the hot pink color got removed from the flag and is often one of the things forgotten in the community when we are talking with each other, as far as when the questions come up, why is this person here? And stuff like that, because we're supposed to remember the hot pink. We're not supposed to forget that.
yeah,
That covers all of the things around the topic that is the hot pink. There we go. That's safe for the algorithms, and including the whether you do or even don't or not interested in, because all of those aspects are part of that.
and also remember the answer to that question of why are we all grouped together is because we're all hated for the same reason. We're all persecuted for the same reason. The actual cause of homophobia and transphobia, and I don't know if there's a specific word for people who despise the intersex, but I'm sure there is that I'm just not thinking of. The reason we're all lumped together is with the ace, the arrow, and the demi folk is because we are not living according to the patriarchal gender standards that have been prescribed for us. Those standards require that there are two genders, male and female, rigidly defined, whereas the male is the strong protector, provider, and the one in charge, and the female is the quiet, receptive, demure, and deferring one who is not, and that the male love is exclusively interested in the female, and the female is exclusively interested in the male for the sake of procreation. Anyone outside of those norms, that's the LGBTQIA plus. That's all of us.
And just like a good party, as things start to heat up, we will be doing a more fiery episode on that topic later in the month.
Yes, we will. So the red color on the flag symbolizes life. And this is one that would become tragic very quickly as the AIDS epidemic was just getting started when these flags were originally made, but also the plague of hate crimes that continue to happen to us to this day. In fact, just a couple days before Pride this month, we saw that beautiful trans woman get attacked at a mover and no one stood up to protect her. And we're still struggling for an equal and respected life. It's just the right to exist. We're still fighting for that. But also just to remember that you are alive. Living in the closet was not a good choice. As somebody who did that for most of my life, I was in the closet till I was roughly 18 years old and then came out. I can't imagine being in the closet longer than that. And actually, I can, because I didn't realize other things about me until later. And that caused even further harm.
In a way, almost another 18 years. It is very much about the red of the blood that has been spilt, but also, more importantly, remembering that embracing life to its fullest and living life to its fullest and recognizing how precious and short it is. And being that subjugated life, that oppressed life, is not healthy, not a good way to be.
And it's a very good reminder for us right now with everything that is going on. The orange on the flag stood for healing. I love that this one goes before everything else on here and immediately after life, because a lot of us still to this day need healing. We need to deal with the various traumas that we were put through in our youth, whether it be from bullying or straight up physical violence and hate crimes being committed against us. There's a lot of healing that has to go on to deal with the various traumas that we endure simply trying to exist. I love that here, like within our first three principles that we're talking about here, we didn't have to wait to get to healing. We're already there. That healing is number 3. It's the orange stripe. It's the one that reminds us that we need to take care of one another, that we need to be there for one another, and that we need to be that source of healing and hope one for another.
It also sets up a nice path. You start by embracing life and living, and that brings about the healing and starts that healing process.
I hate how much goes back to the announcements that you get on the plane, put your own mask on before you help the person next to you put their mask on. But this really is, in so many ways, that kind of lesson for us. Learn how to live, then learn how to heal. You probably need that healing.
As RuPaul says, how the hell are you going to love somebody else if you don't love yourself?
Yeah.
You got to love yourself. You got to embrace life. And that starts a healing process in yourself and allows you to help heal others.
No, that doesn't mean you can't help others while you are still in the process of healing. It's just, we have to be careful. And I know this from spending so much time in the queer community throughout my life. We have a tendency to own our own healing and our own self-care because it's so important for us to help and heal others. And I love that for us. We are very altruistic in that way. But also, I hate for us because we need to be taking care of ourselves so we have the strength to take care of others.
I so often like to remind the kiddos that, you know, the healing power of a hug. It's rare to find somebody who doesn't agree with the healing power of a hug. But the thing is, when you're giving a hug, you are also receiving a hug at the exact same time. So it is healing both. It's not just one or the other.
The third principle, healing. The fourth principle, the yellow stripe, is sunlight. Because one, we need to be out there, out of the shadows, out of the closet, out into the light of day. It is a proven fact that the more people know that there are queer people in their life, the less likely they are to be homophobic or transphobic. The problem is, especially for trans folk, that we only make up about 1% of the global population.
Yeah.
So it's very unlikely that it's harder for, I guess I should say, everyone to know that they know a trans person, which is why visibility campaigns are so important, that having representation in media is so important. We know for a fact that shows like Will and Grace did a lot to change people's minds about queer folk because they fell in love with Will and Jack and felt like they knew someone in the community, whether they did or not. And that does really help out the community. And we need to be out there. We need to be in the light. We need to be sharing our light with others.
One of the biggest misconceptions that gets propagated from the agents of hate is that they want to other us. Yes. They want to paint us in a light that we aren't. The thing is, for people in general, the minute they can see that the other is just like them, because everybody at their base level just wants to live a good life. They want to be able to be themselves and live a good life and not have some authority figure step in and tell them how they have to live. Mm-hmm. When they can see that unity, it removes the other, and that more healing can occur, and that they themselves can let go of the fear and the anger and the hate that they harbor towards the community. And suddenly they become allies of themselves because they go, wait, no, this is my fellow community brethren. They like to go out on the town and be just like me and do things just like I do, and whatever it is, do all the similar things, live a good life just like I do. And they will then become avid supporters.
It does happen.
It happens. There is a large community of hill folk around us that ride or die. You don't touch our gaze. When I first met them, they were all the very opposite of that.
Yes, very much.
But over a few drinks, hanging out a little bit, letting them see that just like them, so many similar interests, that they went, oh, this isn't this other scary other thing. It's just like me. Same interests. Part of that is from that sunlight.
The next stripe, the green stripe, is nature. Because one, yes, we are in fact found in nature. We are clearly found in nature. In fact, we have not found a species yet that does not have some form of queerness in it. Maybe mushrooms, because there might not be a heterosexuality in mushrooms, because they have thousands of sexes.
Because they fall into the cute part. No, they're still they're still very much in the spectrum. They're just some of the other aspects of the spectrum.
Fungi are
fun guys.
Yeah, they're complex. But everywhere we look in nature, and we people like us, we see animals like us, we see our behaviors and our tendencies, whatever you want to call them, our existence in nature. But also, I tend to think of this also as being that not just seeing ourselves in nature, but reminding ourselves to go and be a part of nature and the natural world, because it is a trend that continues to this day for the queer community to become extremely urban, because it's in those concentrated urban settings that we can find our own, we can group together for solidarity, and we can build our own neighborhoods and our own safe spaces and safe havens. And I look at this as a call and a reminder to go out into nature. It's the sequel to the go out into the sunlight. And don't forget to touch grass. Don't forget to go out. Don't forget to be out and about and amongst the green things in this world. Because I know, again, from having spent a lot of time in activist circles, there are some folk that you can tell they haven't touched grass for a while, that they have been living in this academic war world mindset where they're nothing but PR slogans and rhetoric, and they're forgetting all of the principles that led to this place. They're not really living. They haven't done the healing that they need to. They need to go out and get some sunshine and touch grass. And it's easy to get lost in the work and get to that place. But I look at a principle like this, and I think it's both a reminder that we are a part of nature, that we should be a part of nature and go out and, to use the overused metaphor of the day, touch grass. The turquoise, now remember the turquoise and the indigo, the next two stripes got merged together into the blue. The turquoise stood for magic and art. One, because witchy people have always been a part of the queer community. Like, witchy people have always been a part of the queer community. But also, art and magic are two sides of the same coin. We're both doing the same work. We both have our own rituals. We are both casting our spells. It's just sometimes that spell is a painting that we put on public display. Sometimes it's a dance that gets performed at a nightclub. Sometimes it's a song that goes into a recording studio or performed before an audience. We're all doing our art. We're all doing our magic. And I love this reminder that this is something we all need to remember and have at the heart of our community and who we are.
It's those creative acts that we talk about so often. It's engaging in this. Even in our community, we must remember that we need to be engaging in those creative acts.
And really embracing just the magic of who and what we are. So much of our native arts, from drag on down, are related to this just transformation and this reinvention of self, which is so core to who we are as a people. And Larry Kramer always stressed that we need to think of ourselves as a people, because we are shared, but we are collectivized by a shared history of oppression and a shared culture that has emerged from that oppression. The next stripe on the flag is the indigo stripe. And remember, that got merged with the turquoise into the blue stripe on our modern flag. It stood for serenity, peace. How many of us actually take the time or put in the effort to find serenity?
Yeah.
Brian didn't speak up. I didn't speak up. How many of us are actually working for this? This is, I think, the lost art of activism, is finding those moments of serenity and peace.
It's so easy to forget, but in a way, it's ironic and tragic that the two colors got merged into one, and a lot of those aspects were forgotten. And we should remember as a community, a lot of this is this quest for that serenity, that peace, to be able to be left to live a good life in peace and serenity without having somebody else come along and go, no, you're living life wrong. You have to do it this way.
And the final stripe, the violet stripe, the stripe of spirit. One thing I can say about the queer community is we have an unbreakable spirit. And I know this because for millennia, people have tried to break our spirit.
Every time we talk about the spirit of the community, I get Adam's Family moment in my head where grandma picks up the chainsaws. You can't even kill it with a chainsaw. It's unbreakable.
Because we have always been here. We will always be here. And there's nothing anyone can say or do about that. We will be born into every generation, and we have endured so much, and we will continue to endure. And it's given us a certain graciousness of spirit. It's given us a certain understanding of the fellow suffering of others, that it's really telling how privileged some people's lives are, that they have lost the spirit within the community and have forgotten how to have solidarity with groups that are not our own. It's important to remember that in the early years of the queer rights movement, we reached out and did our best to have solidarity for groups that often did not want us to be there. But we saw that we were fighting in common cause, that we had a common enemy. And so we showed up anyway, whether that's the labor strikes that happened in the US and England or in the women's rights movements. If you don't know about the Lavender Panic, look into the Lavender Panic and everything that happened with that. And, just moments when they were afraid that there might be lesbians in the women's movement and how said lesbians reacted to that. Just chef's kiss. That's showing that spirit, that magic, that serenity, not to lose it in ways that I know I would have circumstances.
Yeah. And I like to think of spirit as a reminder as well. And that is so essential to all of this and the struggles that we face daily, is that we all share that same spirit. We all have that same common enemy, the misogyny, the patriarchy, the busybodies that want to tell us how we have to live our lives. And remembering that allows us to embrace a much bigger community, because in the end, those that are under that misogyny, that patriarchy, they're going to see us all the same.
Yeah. And they're going to treat us all the same.
They're going to treat us all the same. They're going to see us all the same. It is all the same.
They don't see you as special, Joanne.
Makes me want to come up with a new version of lesbian, gay, still queer, trans, still queer, ace, still queer, bi, still queer. Because sometimes some members in our community erroneously think that they've got some kind of past and they're going to be accepted. As long as they turn against the community, they're going to be left alone or something. And it's no. They still see you.
And you can see that in the life of Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn helped to lead the actual Lavender Scare. He was a part of Senator McCarthy's thugs that went after people and helped to hunt down queer people in the government. He himself being a gay man, and he was never accepted. He was never part of the team. And he died of AIDS, still lying to people, telling people he had liver cancer because he knew that they would not accept him if they knew the truth, and they figured out the truth. And he died alone, because you cannot hate your way into acceptance. That doesn't work. That has never worked. And Roy Cohn is the cautionary tale to remind us that no, that never, ever works. And it's sad, because no one should have to die alone and friendless. But that's the life he chose. So yeah, I would like to invite you, whether you are a member of the queer community, whether you fit under any of the flags in the LGBTQIA plus community or not, even if you're just an ally or an accomplice, to try living, at least for the month. You might find it a little contagious, and continue going on living this. If there is a gay agenda other than just wanting to be left alone to live our lives in peace, it's getting people to understand that you need to embrace life and healing. Go out and be in the sunshine, and don't be ashamed of who you are. Accept your place in nature. Practice your art and your magic freely. Find that serenity and spirit that will guide you throughout every bit of your day. And I don't think that's a bad thing. So maybe give it a try. See how it works out for you.
Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Happy Pride Month. We are going to be doing a lot for Pride Month this month. I think every Thursday or Friday, we're going to be doing Pride episodes. We have a lot of stuff planned out. I would love to know your thoughts about this. Did you know about the original Pride flag? Did you know this flag originally had meaning? Do you ascribe your own meaning to the colors? What do the flags mean to you? Let me know in the comments. If you're listening to us on YouTube, Spotify, or creationspast.com, you can leave a comment right there. If you're listening to us anywhere else, even if they say you can leave a comment, they don't notify us, so we won't know. But you can leave a comment there anyway, because engagement is magic. And then head over to creationspast.com, click on chat, and you can leave a message there, and we will see it, and we will be able to get back to you. While you're there, if you happen to have a few dollars, you can pass our way. We offer monthly and annual memberships. You can also support us on Patreon and Ko-fi. I am CE Dorset on both, and you can support us using the Cash App hashtag CreationsPaths. Thank you to everybody who does that. We are ever so grateful. Thank you so much. You all really do help us keep the lights on, keep a roof over our head, and food on our table. If we've ever said anything that's helped you out, please share it with others. That helps us out more than you know. And as we're heading out today, I want to say a prayer to one of my favorite feminist icon saints of the church, O blessed Saint Tekla, whose strength and devotion guided her to baptize herself and to ordain herself a minister within the church, whose power and influence was so strong that even in death, they had to put walls around your tomb to keep people from flocking to you, seeking your guidance, help, and support. Your strength is a beacon to us to stand up against the patriarchy and all those that would hold us down. Help us in these times when so much is being done to overturn the rights of women and of queer people and of trans folk throughout this country and the world, and help us to find the strength and courage to be ourselves, no matter what our society tells us we are supposed to be. Amen.
Amen.